stories about how being different and isolated could end up resulting in some kind of bullying or a form of harassment or something like that, but with support. Mostly it's been through support of either family or friends. They've been able to overcome different hurdles.
So today 4 students got to present their story, which was how they dealt with school, how they dealt with personal issues, bullying, their activities that they would do outside of school.
So we heard Alan talking about his different cultures and his conflicts at school. Then we heard from Maddie about her struggles with fitting in. Then we had Sebastian telling us a little about his tap, and then we had Ellie telling us about her parents' motel business and how she likes to engage people and talk.
I heard some wonderful stories, peers talking to other peers. I heard people sharing quite, I suppose, information they might not normally have the opportunity to share with their peers, and real elements of their story that you wouldn't hear in day-to-day interactions in the playground.
I think it's a good way because you can express like your emotions and how you've thought about it, because it's easier, it's different to like reading a book and thinking, oh yeah, they're upset, and then actually knowing how upset it made them.
I saw some really powerful stories, and year 7s who are, well, considering my age, they are tiny, for them to walk up there and tell their story, that was really powerful.
Storytelling is a great way to share information. It's one of the oldest forms of sharing information, and this project's been really good because not only have we been able to work with the students and the CMY youth advisors around how to tell a story, but how to tell a story in an interesting and engaging way, and that's been really important.
I think we've lost some of that storytelling in the society and times that we live in now, and I think storytelling, when you listen, that's when you learn, and I think it's a really unique opportunity to share.
The students all brought their own little ideas to their storytelling with some visual aspects. So we had a tower of Jenga, which showed you know, that triumph of when something's completed and that feeling of when things fall apart. We also had a really lovely visual of pegs and a clothesline, and that was really symbolic of a story that revolved around a family business and family connection and the expectation within that business. There was a really lovely imagery with some paints that revolved around cultural colours and separation and divide. And overall, I think that the visual components really gave a lovely highlight to the messages within the story.
I think having the stagecraft gave like another, a different dimension to the storytelling, because it's just a way to engage your readers with your story.
I think when you're storytelling, to be able to give it something that gives an audience the opportunity to connect with, and these components really highlighted for the stories some really lovely visual aspects and also an intrigue into their symbolism.
It's not about differences, it's about similarities. I mean, with Alan telling his story or Ali telling their story, it wasn't to their peers how different they are, but how similar my struggles are to their struggles. I mean, I have really related to Maddie's story because I went through something similar growing up.
Even though the stories we first heard did have elements more of that journey of coming to Australia or being part of a different cultural background, I think the similarities were that young people have struggles and they also have strength and resilience and can overcome them. So I think there was probably more similarities than there was difference.
Some of the themes were a bit similar. So, for example, the first one they spoke about, one of them was about bullying, and another one was about coming from a different cultural background. And I think that the common theme through all of that was basically that if you start to understand somebody else from where they're at, have a bit more of an understanding of them, then you just kind of respect each other regardless of difference.
It was more of the similarities that I saw between the CMY youth advisors and the students at Trafalgar High. There was huge amount of similarities between, even though from different cultural backgrounds, different ages, there was heaps of similarities between both groups.
There was a point of difference there, that resulted in behaviour being different and reactions being different, and I think that was a similarity, that there was a point of difference that resulted in certain kind of behaviours from peers or from other people around them, and just ways on how they overcame that.
My story was about cultural differences and how that no matter who you are or what gender or what religion you have, that everyone's treated the same and should be treated the same, no matter what skin tone or what language they speak.
Coming in quite cold into the project to begin with as readers, sort of invited to come in, to having them sit down, see stories of people they didn't know, to all of a sudden wanting to be involved, having their peers come in, and almost just seeing the audience go from sitting back the first one to sort of coming in and really listening.
It's been great to work within a school and work with Year 7 level. The CMY youth advisors and the people who came and told their stories from a multicultural background certainly laid the foundation for these students to carry on their own stories and find those similarities that they have with the original stories of the books that came to the school.
The process of the project by far highlighted the opportunity for students to really unpack their stories and to develop their ideas, but the highlight probably was today at the completion of the stories and the audience and readers being able to sit together and ask questions or show a reflection of what they've heard, and in most cases there was lots of empathy that was evoked through it, and also opportunity to be able to connect with each other and say, I felt like that, I too know what that is like, I'd like to tell my story. So I think that really highlights how important it was.
We have listened to students of a group of 18, and they all just have such unique stories, I mean, they're all together in the same age, in the same class, and that type of thing. But the one thing that just really hit home is that they're all just so different. And so that was one thing that I learned, and I just want to be able to go back and listen to everybody else's stories now.